Alright, as you guys have seen in one of my previous videos, I have recently encountered some hair algae problems. My phosphates were high. I did manage to get the phosphates down with phosphate E. I did a video on that here. I'm not sure if it's going to be combined with this video or if it's already out. If it's already out, then you've seen it. But basically, I'm trying to get rid of the hair algae at this time. This is a video that I've seen done many a times on YouTube, and I was hoping that it was one I would not have to do. However, I can see it as a real problem. So I am going to be doing one. I ordered Fluconazole. I did the 200 milligram tablets. It's going to take one tablet per 10 gallons of water. I'm figuring with my tank, 32.5 gallons, as much live rock and whatnot I have in there, I probably have less than 25 gallons of actual water in the tank. So I'm just going to be trying it with two Fluconazole for the moment. We're going to monitor the progress. I'm going to show you what happens. Let's hope that we have the success that I've seen on some of the other YouTube channels. We'll go from there. Alright, so I do want to just touch base here. I know I've showed this tank many times here with close-ups in the last videos or so. Kind of have to just to give you an idea what's going on. If you can look in here, there is actually a zoa underneath there, under that big glob of growth. I'm actually going to use the Fluconazole. I'm not even going to pick that off. We're going to monitor that and see if it changes color, if it goes away. As you can see, I have another clump forming there. I have a little clump forming on that. There's a little miscellaneous around this one. Most of these corals aren't open because it was nighttime when I'm filming this, and I actually just turned the lights on so that I could show you this video. But see these, I'm going to go day by day, and I'm going to come back and re-show you these areas. I'm going to try to do it in actual, not in the blue light. I mean, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and it seems like they're always doing it in the blue light, and you can't really get a good picture of what's going on. Because you can see here all the little clumps I have. And then also up here around this grape. Let's see if I can get down below that. So you can see all that algae that's on there. I apologize for some of the footage here. I'm trying to give you as best picture so you can see the progress as you can. I feel as though I must have gotten a little too close with the camera there. Things were a little blurry. I just wanted to give you a close-up though. If you look, you can see I got a little swarm of hair algae forming around just about everything in the tank. I mean, this mushroom down here is practically covered in it. You can see the top of this rock. And like I said, I'm not even going to try to pull this out. My plan is to just see exactly what happens with this. I'm going to give it the test. I'm going to show you day by day progress. Maybe kind of a long video. If it is, I apologize, but I really want to see if it works, and I'm hoping it does work, because otherwise I'm at kind of wit's end, because I do have the phosphates down to where they need to be at this point, and all that's left is to go in and manually pick it all off, and that is a process. But you can also see the different kind of slime algae that are in there. I don't know if it's going to do anything for that. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, so let's start mixing up the Fluconazole and we'll get it in the tank. Alright, so you can see here I got the Fluconazole tablets. These are, it says 200 milligrams. And it says that, well, the instructions I got, I guess it's not like on a package or anything, but basically 200 milligram per 10 gallons of water. And like I said, with mine being mostly live rock and a smaller tank, I'm going to use 2, and we're going to see where that goes. I figure you can always add if you overdo it. Who knows what's going to happen. I know that I've seen this work many a times on YouTube, but my luck, I'll be the first one to find out it doesn't. So let's hope that isn't the case. Basically, I'm just going to break it open, dump it in. I don't know if you can see that, make that out or not. Maybe not. But that's 200 milligrams. Here's the other one. Now they say that this doesn't mix up completely. I'm certainly going to give it as good a mix as I can. But if this works, and I would need to do a treatment in the future, I mean, I have some backups here. Obviously, if you have a larger tank, you wouldn't, but I can literally do this 4 more times. And this is just salt water right out of my tank. Figured I'm going to take it out, put it right back in. I'm going to keep mixing this for a while, see how dissolved I can get it, and then I'll show you when I put it in. Alright, so I'm just going to pour it right in the back of the tank and let it blow through. I can tell you right now, if you can see this here, they aren't kidding. I've been mixing on this for 5 minutes. That's the best I can get that sucker. So when they say it doesn't all mix up, you can believe them. I'll be putting it in here. Should be able to see it. Maybe not. They say it's supposed to cloud up the tank. It's in. I don't actually showing it clouding up my tank too much. Just a few fine particles of undissolved flying around. Otherwise, it's in there. I'll keep adding to this here until we see what the progress is. Every day I'll do a little picture and we'll try to, highlight those areas I showed you, the hair that is in there. Hopefully this takes care of it and it doesn't hurt anything in the process. I'll check back tomorrow. Okay, here's 24 hours later after we've put in the 2 fluconazole. There's not a huge change. Almost, I would say probably not that noticeable. You can tell that if you watch the previous video, you can see where this hair algae is it seems thinner, finer, like it's losing some of its consistency, but other than that, there's been no color change like I've seen in other videos, where it turns white or starts to dissolve. This is only 24 hours in. Certainly too soon to make any kind of rash judgment. I will say this one particular mushroom over here, though, does look like it has less on it for some reason. I don't know if that could be the fish as well. They've been picking at it pretty heavily. But this is 24 hours. I'm going to keep doing this every day and see where we go. You can tell it looks like on the rock themselves, that kind of slime algae that was on there. I don't know, I got to look back at the last video. It almost looks like there's less of that on there. However, the corals, you can tell, none of them seem to be closed up or unhappy. They all seem, well, that one I should say is closed up. It was open here earlier, but for the video here it did just close up, so I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe them fish bumped it, but we'll find out here in the next video. This one here also looks like it's closed all of a sudden. But we'll see. Okay, I'm just starting the next clip here. I'll give you an idea of what we got going on. This will be day 3. As you can see, there's still some hair poking out of the power head there. You can see back here, I still got hair, definitely hair algae. It hasn't gone away. If you look at the day 2 video though, this was so thick you actually couldn't see the polyps underneath it. Now you can kind of see through it. It's kind of thinned out, kind of like somebody losing their hair. As you look up here, they're whipping around. They're not very rigid. It's hard to see on here. I tried several ways to get it to see, but the very tips of these green hair algae clumps are kind of getting translucent. I wouldn't say they're white, they're more almost see-through. It's like they're bleaching. But obviously, I don't know if that's exactly what's happening. It's really hard to see on this, the tips of them. Hopefully, as we go into the next day, it will be easier. For some reason that hammer never did have any hair around it. I don't know what the case is there. Pretty much every other coral I had, mushrooms, well, the Xena I guess didn't either, nor the hairy mushroom. But the other ones, they all got hair around the base. Even this one here, Okay, so that's just a quick run over of day 3. I'm going to keep going here till we get to day 12. Hopefully by the time we get to day 12 we don't see any of this. Day 4 fluconazole. Just want to get up close here and I want to show you how that hair algae is, or bryopsis, I think it's hair algae actually, is turning white. That's day 4 of the fluconazole. And of course, prior to doing fluconazole, I did get the phosphates down to 0.03. Actually, I had them all the way down to 0.01. But they are back to 0.03 today. I did do another test. It's hard to see here, but if you look even the stuff on the back wall, you can see how it's starting to turn green, or white, excuse me. So I'm kind of excited something's happening here. We'll keep going here and we'll see how this works out. We'll check back in tomorrow. Okay, it looks like we got day 5 fluconazole. As you can see, there's less. That one back there just barely has a little on it. This one's still pretty covered. This one here has got just a little smidge on it. If you look up here, those big chunks that were waving around are kind of breaking up. There's just little smidgens of them. It's definitely on its way to, if you look on the back wall, you can actually make out, if you look close, the dark green to the bottom to the white on the top. It's kind of parting away from the grape. The corals actually seem to be out and happy. I can't say that any of them are upset with it. This hair on this one it retracted quite a bit at the beginning, and then it's kind of stayed there. So that one doesn't have white ends or anything yet, so we'll have to wait on that one. This one here, it's just about dissolved. It's about ready to break off there. And then you can see here through this the white tips. Anyways, we'll do this day by day. I don't want to make this too long. Alright, we're at day 6, fluconazole. So I see some interesting things happening here. For one, whatever this is that's going across here, it's not seeming to do anything to it. You can see the hair algae around it on the other rocks, how the ends are white. And actually on this top rock that we've seen in the previous videos, I mean, it's really very few clumps left. It's all but gone already. However, over here, whatever that is around that, it doesn't seem to be affecting it at all. I'm not sure exactly why. Plus, we also have a couple of weird things happening here. The phosphates are at 0.02 I tested this morning. Look at that, we got some red slime algae. I don't know what the proper term for it is, but it's not good forming here. It's not a lot of it, just a few small spots. But some of that finer, whispery algae doesn't seem to be affected so far. The coarser algae did. But you can see still here, see how the white is traveling down further. You can tell the color difference on that algae. But then the same thing here, this fine, whispery, sorry about the focus there, this fine, whispery algae on here is not seeming to be affected. Most of it is gone though. Like if you look down here, like on this mushroom, every time we come here, the mushroom looks bigger because there's less algae. This polyp here didn't actually want to come out here for a couple days, but seems to be out and happy. This is still, I wouldn't say he's completely closed in. He's out a little bit, the Gorgonia, but he's not liking it. He doesn't think it's the best stuff in the world. But there's another look at it. We'll keep going. I may have to do like a hydrogen peroxide dip on that one, and then maybe on this one. This one actually, it's misleading because I have small little chunks of rock glued around to hold him in place. And the rock that I glued around is what's actually got the weird algae on it, not the grape. So I may end up having to take them rocks out and throw them away and just put the grape in there, glue them down. All right, we'll check again tomorrow. Okay, it looks like we're at day 7, Fluconazole. As you can see in the pack here, I did put the 3rd pill in. We're showing that it's 32.5 gallons. I know that there's not 30 gallons in here with the rock and whatnot, but I thought I'm going to try it, see what happens. Last night I did see a decrease on the amount of algae on this. If you look at the video previous, there's seems to be some red algae showing up different places. I don't know why that would be. You can look at the back again, like I showed you. They're still white on the tips. They're still shrinking. One thing that was a noticeable change, though, today is this grape coral. You can see the grape coral there. In videos previous, that the hair algae was just covering it. Right now, it's considerably smaller. I know this is just short videos of day by day, but I wanted to give you an idea where things are at. Still a little clump here. This one has managed to stay clean. Most of these shots I'm doing are kind of at night, so it's when I'm home, so a lot of these corals are ready to go down for the night. In fact, I turned the lights back on to get this video, so. But there you go. We'll see how it is tomorrow with the extra pill. All right, here we are going for day 8, Fluconazole. Looks like, if you look at the close up, let's see here, you can see that there's still obviously every kind of algae you can think of in there. But the actual green hair algae that was around this grape coral up here on top is now pretty well gone. Now it's just kind of some slimy, mushy, I'm not sure exactly what kind of algae that is. That's another different algae altogether. Same way around this mushroom here. The hair algae went away and now it's got that real slimy. So that's another thing I'm going to have to figure out, or maybe that's just part of the... See, and this is, when you go in there to try to pluck that off of that mushroom, it's the same way. It's kind of a slimy, it's not really a hair or... And it doesn't seem to affect that at all. I do have a little bit of that going all over. And it's not really, I mean, I might have to go in there with a brush. Because it brushes off, like with a toothbrush or something, it brushes right off. But I just didn't think it would spread around. But if you look in the previous pictures, you'd see them clumps of the real tall, green, rigid hair algae. That stuff is all but gone. There's just a few little chunks, if you look on the back wall here, that are still flopping around. Right, there's one. But that's going away too. So as far as the hair algae, it pretty much has done it. You can see the little hairs there. You see how they're white on the end on this. It's a good example of how it all looked as it was slowly dissolving. But then you also have that real light, I don't know what kind of algae it is. But we'll check in again tomorrow. Okay, we're going to go for day 9, the Fluconazole. Once again, it doesn't look like a whole lot changed from the last video. Still have a certain type of algae that, like I said, I'm going to have to get in there with a brush and scrub on everything and try to get that off. But the actual algae I was originally trying to do, if you remember back here just a couple frames to the 1, 2, or 3 video, that's gone. So it did take care of that, but it did not take care of the algae completely, which, you know, I didn't expect it to take care of all algae, but I thought pretty much anything that was like a hair type algae. Okay, what we have here is day 10 of the Fluconazole. Big changes this time, but it's not Fluconazole all by itself. And I can tell you this particular coral right here, I think it's over it. He's still good, he's not shedding or anything, but I think I need to do a water change. He's shrunk up here in the last day or so. Otherwise, I believe, well, the one that was, this one right here, the one that was actually covered with the most hair, is still alive as well. There's still hair there. You can see it hasn't got 100% of it. There's still a couple more days in the test here to go. But as you can see, big change overnight here. I mean, I woke up and I was like, wow. The stuff that was all moving on the rocks is just small little clumps. If you look back on the back here, the clumps on the back, I can't get a good picture. Come on. You can see them little dots in there. That's all the bigger they are now. They were big clumps. But as you can see, if you look at the whole picture, it's cleared a lot. The grape was another one that had a lot of hair. Small little clump on it there yet, otherwise it's pretty well gone. Little clump on the Gorgonia there. But another one that was also is this mushroom right here. And I mean to tell you guys, this I was beginning to lose hope. Well, I put that third pill in and nothing happened really. Well, just overnight last night, this is the 10th day, and I'm going to call this test a success. Fluconazole definitely did do the job. I think it's still in process of doing the job. I think we're going to give it the extra, what did they say, recommended 12 to 15 days, I believe. I might just let it run for the full, well, a couple more days anyways. We'll keep an eye on this one coral. I don't really want him getting worse. This one here also, I don't know if it's where he's located, if I'm losing him, but you can tell the center of him is not looking good. So I don't know if that's from the Fluconazole or just from me moving him around, because I've moved him around constantly trying to find a home that he likes, and I just can't seem to find one. These were out, but obviously they're not out for the video here, but they look good when they're out. But yeah, so I'm going to call this a success. This is another one here that in the last day has decided, the pipe organ has decided not to expose itself. Once again, I don't know if that's a Fluconazole thing. We'll find out here in a day or two when I do the big water change. Otherwise, yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I think if I did actually lose a coral in the process here, and this was how it worked out, I'd still call it a win. But that sums up day 10. Alright, so I hope that video wasn't too long and boring. It was kind of I'm only doing 10 days here for the video. I'm gonna leave the stuff in for the next 2 days here just for the process, but you can see what's happened here already in the 10 days. It's pretty much take care of itself. So there's no reason to drag the video out more than we actually need to. I just thought I'd throw that in there. I do want to mention here, you know, you guys did miss out if you haven't already signed up for the IP Vanish, you know, for the discount. Good news is it's still available. Still have the link down below if you want it. It just won't be quite as good a deal. Also that glass aqua, if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you do. There's some pretty good equipment they have there. Also, like, subscribe, comment. You know, I'd like to hear your comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say about the tank, if you like what I'm doing. If there's a video on something you think I should do, you know, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'd like to, you know, have other videos out there that people want to see. Otherwise, that's the result. I'm pretty much sold on the Fluconazole. If I would have this kind of problem, I will go back to it. I hope you did enjoy the video. Until next time, we'll see you later.